5 sides remain unbeaten over in League 2, but they're not your leaders. That's right, with Crewe and Chesterfield sitting top of the bloody Pops, who of course will be there at the end of match number 6. We're going to get into that much more next. That's right, folks, back once again with another video. Today we take a look at match day number 6, that's right, with Crewe and Chesterfield sitting top of the bloody table. But they're not unbeaten. There are 5 clubs that remain unbeaten at this stage. Who are they? Well, I'll showcase you those in just a second. Big shout out to the members and the patrons. Again, if you're new, where have you been? Hit the old subscribe. You want subscribe for Blackburn Rovers. League 2 World Football is right here. That's right. Of course, it just doesn't stop in the EFL. And of course, we're right here with match number 6 right now. But before we do that, we're going to recap the results in match number 5. Showcase you how I got on, and then of course showcase you where we all are in the table. So here we go then, recap of the results, and they're on the screen now. On the left hand side is my predictions, of course on the right is the real score lines there. I'm going to start with the Newport County. They come out on top with a nothing. They lost to MK Dons, 2-1 winners. It once for the visitors, got that one spot on the nose. Meanwhile, Walsall did beat Salford 1-0. I went with the 2-2 scoreline as well. Stanley did draw with Grimsby. I went with a win. Bristol Rovers got their first win with a 1-0 win over Cambridge United. It's been a long time coming. Meanwhile, Cheltenham, they did lose to Barnet with a surprise. I went the other way. Pretty poor for me this week. Colchester United did lose to Barrow, which was a big surprise for them. Tranmere also grabbing the win away to Crawley. A lot of away results. Meanwhile, Gillingham did beat Crewe 1-0, of course. Slowly does it for the Gills. They are unbeaten. Fleetwood Town and Oldham did draw 1-1. Harrogate Town did lose to Chesterfield 2-1, got that one spot on, and Notts County and Bromley 2-2 in the end, and Swindon did beat Shrewsbury 2-1, which I got bang on the bloody nose. So the table, my friends, looks like this. As you see, it is Crewe, tip of the top of the table, with Chesterfield and MK Dons, who are unbeaten. Of course, joining them in that top end of the table, we have Grimsby, Gillingham, Bromley also remain unbeaten, with Walsall in and amongst those playoff spots. Going down, it's Cheltenham, it's Shrewsbury, of course, right here, right now. But that can all change this coming match day. But before we get into all that, reminder of our prediction league. It is of course coming at you. This continues to come out. Here's a reminder of the link. I will hope to bring you an update next week. The next week or the week after. Of course, it's international break elsewhere. But yes, continue to do your thing. Everything should be there, and you should be able to have your score lines getting put in there. But we're going to move on with, of course, the next round of games, and these are those. That's right. Of course, another busy schedule over in League 2. I'm going to jump into the deep end right about now. So kick it all off with a trip to Salford. That's right. So come at you this coming Friday up against Cheltenham. Of course, Carl Robinson at the helm there up against Michael Flynn. Both sides have played 7 times in 2019. 2 wins for the host, 4 wins for the visitors. There's just been 1 draw between the 2 sides. Salford are in 9th. At the moment, they've won 3 of the last 5. Doing all right. Cheltenham, not the best start for them. They're rock bottom, of course. No points. 4 wins in the spin, 5 defeats in the last 6 matches. Their only win was in the Cup. Coming into the last played over at Salford. It was a 2-0 win for Salford back in November 2024 in the FA Cup. They last played in the league same year, back in September 2024. 2-1 win for Salford as well. Coming into this, Salford on the back of a loss to Walsall. Cheltenham on the back of a 3-0 loss to Cardiff in the Cup. Back-to-back games now without a goal for them. Bookies odds 38 on. It's just Salford 92 is the away win, 11-4 is the draw. I think Cheltenham are in a bit of trouble here, guys. I really do. Going to go with a win for Salford, 2-0 win, points in the bag, and they move the chains. Meanwhile, Barrow, they're up against Fleetwood Town in the Pete Wild Derby. That's right. Or you could call it the Andrew Wing Derby. Did Andrew Wing manage Fleetwood? I don't know. But definitely Pete Wild managed Barrow. They played 9 times in 2010. 3 wins for Barrow, 5 wins for Fleetwood. There's been 1 draw between the 2 sides. They last played, of course, over at Barrow. 2-0 win as it was for the host back in December 2024. Barrow back-to-back clean sheets against Fleetwood. And they're coming at you sitting 14th in the table with 6 points. Meanwhile, Fleetwood are in 12th with 8 points. With, of course, winless, though, in the last 4 matches in all shapes and all sizes. They did draw last time around against Oldham. Meanwhile, Barrow picked up that cheeky 2-0 away win against Colchester. We've got the odds here, 11-10 is your Barrow, 27-10 your Fleetwood, 11-5 is the draw. It is the Pete Wild Derby, and I'm going to go with a draw on this one, 1-1. In the end, table toppers Crewe, they're up in action against Swindon Town. That's right, coming out of Grimsby Road. They played 37 times since 1997, 15 wins for Crewe. We have 14 wins for Swindon. There's been 8 draws. Crewe sitting in top pops right now. 12 points of a possible, 15? Of course, they've won 4 and lost 2 of the last 6 in all shapes and all sizes. Swindon on the flip side, they sit in 8th with 9 points, 3 wins, 3 defeats over the last 6. And they last played Crewe at this venue, being a 0-0 scoreline. In fact, it was back-to-back 0-0s last season. And Crewe coming into on the back of that 1-0 loss to Gillingham. Swindon picking up a 2-1 win over Shrewsbury. That was, of course, last weekend. Then we get the odds for this one. We got 11 to 10 your Crewe, 12 to 5 is your draw, 12 to 5 is also your Swindon victory. We're going to go Crewe to the win here, 2-1 winners. And, of course, the Alex will be top heading into the international break, which doesn't really affect League Two. I think they just continue. Meanwhile, Bromley, they're up in action against Harrogate Town. Bromley doing A-OK, and Andy Woodman, they sit 6th right now with 9 points. They're coming into on the back of a defeat with just 1 win in the last 4. Up against Harrogate under Simon Weaver, who are 11th with 8 points themselves, just 1 win in the last 5. Now, they played 6 times since 2018. 2 wins for Bromley, 1 for Harrogate. There's been 3 draws between the two sides. They last played over at Bromley, 2-0 win as it was back in February 2025. That was in League Two. In fact, Bromley did the double over Harrogate last season with back-to-back clean sheets. They're actually unbeaten against Harrogate over the last 4 with a couple of wins, couple of draws. They're into this on the back of a penalty shootout loss to League One Wickham. They, of course, tumbled out of the cup. Remember Harrogate, of course, 2-1 loss to Chesterfield last week in the league. The odds right here, right now, we are looking at Bromley 4-3 on for the victory, 27 to 10. The draw 7-2. Your away win. I'm going with a 1-1 scoreline right here, right now. I think Bromley are doing great. I don't know how long they'll continue to be great, but I think they'll step up a little bit this week. Meanwhile, we're going to go to Cambridge. That's right, as they take on Newport County. That's right, coming at you over in where are we? Cambridge, of course. Paul Harris's boys. Neil Harris. I don't know Paul Harris. Neil Harris's boys up against David Hughes. That's right. Cambridge in 13th with 7 points for the campaign. Up against Newport, who are struggling. 19th in the campaign, 4 points for the season. 4 defeats in a row. They played Cambridge 23 times in 2010. 9 wins apiece. 5 draws between the two sides. And the last time they played at this venue being a 2-1 win for Cambridge back in October 2010. Goodness gracious me. In fact, Cambridge back-to-back wins over Newport and back-to-back wins. That's all I can say really about that. Cambridge on the back of that 3-1 win over Cheltenham. In the cup, they are through to the round 3. Newport County losing MK Dons last weekend. The odds for this one, 2-1 on your Cambridge. They are red hot favourites. 11-2 is your Newport County. 31-10 is the draw here. We're going to go Cambridge on course on this one. 2-1 win for Neil Harris's lads. Next up we go Barnet. They're taking on Colchester United, of course. Barnet, of course, finding it, getting a bit of form together. I guess the Colchester United side under Danny Cowley have slipped into a bit of a rough patch right now. They played 6 times since 2007. 3 wins of Barnet, 2 wins Colchester, 1 draw between the two sides. They last played, of course, back in Barnet. It was a 1-0 win for Colchester back in November 2017. The hosts on the back of back-to-back wins, sitting in 15th with 6 points, up against Colchester, who are in 17th with 5 points and just 1 win in the last 6. It's gone a bit shitty for Colchester. They're on the back of a 2-0 loss to Barrow. It's actually been back-to-back home defeats for Colchester. Up against Barnet, who have made it back-to-back away wins. Their first 2 home matches did result in defeats, though. But let's put that into perspective. 20-19 on is your Barnet at 13-5. Your Colchester 13-5 is the draw. I'm back in Colchester here. I don't know where I'm getting that from, but they've got to turn it around and fast. Otherwise, they're in a bit of trouble. Meanwhile, Chesterfield taking on Crawley. That's right, Chesterfield flying high in the table. Up against Crawley side, who are struggling. That's right. Paul Cook against Scott Lindsay in the dugout. They played 4 times in 2014. We got 2 wins Chesterfield, 1 win Crawley, 1 draw between the two sides. Chesterfield are sitting second, 12 points above possible 15, 4 wins in the last 6 matches. Up against Crawley, winless in the last 8 matches, and they're coming into this having beaten Chesterfield back in last time they played back in February 2018. That was in League Two. Chesterfield on the back though of a 2-1 win over Harrogate. Crawley losing to Tranmere this past weekend in the league. The odds here 20-11 on is Chesterfield 90-4. The Crawley 3-1 is the draw here. We're going with a win for Chesterfield. 3-0 winners. They should be comfortably in charge of that game. Meanwhile, Grimsby Town against Bristol Rovers, who've seen a bit of an uptick in form of late. Grimsby, though, David Artell in the hot seat there, sitting in 4th, 11 points for them for the season. Up against Bristol Rovers, Darrell Clark, back-to-back wins now, unbeaten the last 3. They played Grimsby 10 times since 2004. 2 wins Grimsby, 6 wins Bristol Rovers. There's been 2 draws between the two sides. They last played competitively in the league at Grimsby. It was a 1-0 win for Bristol Rovers back in February 2015. Goodness gracious me. Grimsby on the back of the draw against Accrington Stanley most recently. Bristol Rovers did beat Tottenham's Youth in a Football League Trophy Southern on penalties. So, yeah, take from that from what you will. Coming into this, the bookies odds, we got Grimsby 2019 on for the victory, 13-5 issue. Bristol Rovers 11-4 is the draw. They may have turned the corner here, Bristol Rovers, after the past couple of results. But I do think Grimsby Town will have too much in the tank this time around. Meanwhile, MK Dons over against Walsall. This one's probably game of the round right here, right now. Coming at you over at the Stadium MK under Paul Warne. Just one defeat in the last 6. They sit third up against Walsall under Matt Sadler. They've won 3 and they've lost 3 over the last 6. They played 36 times since 2001. 12 wins MK Dons, 13 wins Walsall, and there's been 11 draws between the two sides. Last time around over at the Stadium MK, it was a 1-0 win for the hosts back in September 2024. Actually, MK Dons are winning back-to-back against Walsall at this very venue and back-to-back clean sheets. In fact, they've got 3 clean sheets. Tell a lie. They've got 4 clean sheets over the last 5 matches against Walsall. But they're coming into this on the back of that 2-1 win over Newport. Walsall with that 1-0 win over Salford. The odds here 11-10 on is your MK Dons. 31-10 is your Walsall. 12-5 the draw. We are going to go with the MK Dons victory. A comfortable one at that. 3-1 win to put the pressure on the rest of the pack. Meanwhile, Oldham taking on Gillingham. That's right, over at Boundary Park. Oldham under Mickey Mellon, sitting in 18th right now. 4 points for them for the season. They are winless in the last 6, but they have, they picked up some points along the way. Against Gillingham under Gareth Ainsworth, just one defeat in the last 6, but they're unbeaten in the league. They sit 5th right now with 11 points. They played Oldham 18 times in 2005. 11 wins Oldham, 2 wins Gillingham. 5 draws between the two sides. It's actually been back-to-back draws between these two sides, including the last time they played at Boundary Park, which was a 1-1 draw way back in April 2018. Oldham on the back of that 5-1 loss to Manchester City's Youth in the Football League Trophy. Gillingham with a 1-win over Crewe to make it back-to-back wins for themselves. The odds for this one, 27-20 is your Oldham, 9-4. Your Gills, 21-10. The draw here. We're going 1-0 winners Gillingham. They only do it by minuscule amounts, so I'm going to go with it. And they'll take the 3 points and move the chain. Shrewsbury up against Accrington. Stanley coming at you at Shrewsbury. Michael Abden's boys are in 23rd spots right now with just 1 point for their season. Up against Stanley and John Doolan. They're 21st with 2 points for the campaign. They played 27 times in 2003. 12 wins Shrewsbury, 8 wins Stanley. 7 draws between the two sides. They last played at Shrewsbury. 1-0 win as it was for Accrington Stanley back in August 2022. In fact, Accrington are unbeaten against Shrewsbury over the last 6, and they got 4 clean sheets on the spin. Shrewsbury's a team did beat Chelsea Youth Football League Trophy Southern just last night. Stanley losing to Doncaster Rovers in the cup to bow out. The odds for this one, Shrewsbury 13-10 for the victory, 11-5 is your Stanley, 9-4 is the draw. This could be a draw here, guys. Going to go with the 1-1er. Right down the middle. And then finally we go to Tranmere, aka Prenton Park, as they take on Notts County, coming at you on the 30th of August. Andrew Crosby's boys are 10th with 8 points for them for the season, just 1 defeat in the last 5 up against Notts County under Martin Patterson, who are 16th right now with 5 points for the season. They played 22 times since 1993, 9 wins Tranmere, 7 wins Notts County, 6 draws between the two sides. They last played at Tranmere, 0-0 it was back in August 2024. Tranmere on the back of a 2-0 win over Crawley. Notts County could only draw with Bromley last time around. 27-20 your odds for your Tranmere, 11-5 your Notts County, 21-10 is the draw. Tight one, but I'm going to go with the hosts. 2-1 win Tranmere. To make a surge up that table, of course. And if I'm right, this is what the table will look like. It'll be Crewe, it'll be Chesterfield, it'll be MK Dons. The playoffs will have Grimsby, Gillingham, Salford, and Tranmere. And of course, going down, it'll be Crawley and Cheltenham. Of course, the Prediction League is live. I know I've not given you an update. It exists. Just do your thing. We'll give you an update very, very soon. But, my friends, that is all I've got for you. I'll be back, of course, pretty soon because it doesn't stop in the league. So keep up to date with all that. Subscribe, smash the like. I'll see you soon when I return.